Another history from Shadows of Truth. I hope you enjoy it.
As the sun dipped below the horizon, an amber glow washed over the historic buildings of Cambridge University. Laughter echoed through the quad, where students in tweed mingled, oblivious to the storm brewing within. This evening was marked by a rare manuscript showcase in the prestigious Special Collections, a night brimming with anticipation. But beneath that facade of excitement, darkness lurked just out of sight. As twilight embraced the library, silence settled like a heavy shroud. Dust particles danced in the beams of moonlight streaming through the arched windows, casting an ethereal glow over the cherished tomes. This tranquility shattered abruptly. The lifeless body of Dr. Jonathan Jake Andrews lay sprawled on the cold stone floor, his eyes wide with disbelief, forever frozen in that final, horrifying moment. Next to him, a crumpled notepad revealed indecipherable symbols, a fleeting glimpse into his last scholarly endeavor. Gasps reverberated in the library, the weight of tragedy crashing down on the academic community. They had lost a brilliant mind, but the events soon to unfold would shake them to their very core. The sharp wail of sirens sliced through the suffocating silence as Detective Eliza Carrington and her partner, Detective Mark Foster, arrived on the scene, determination etched on their faces. The detectives moved delicately through a room thick with tension, scrutinizing every corner for signs of struggle or vital clues. Forensic teams, clad in white gloves, meticulously combed through the shadows, analyzing the unsettling scene. Scuff marks on the floor hinted at a hidden struggle, while outside, shivering whispers of disbelief danced among faculty and students. Potential suspects began to emerge from the periphery of Andrew's life, each entangled in a web of ambition, rivalry, and regret. Maria Lopez, bright and ambitious, had thrived under Andrew's mentorship, but beneath her sharp intellect lay a lingering discontent. What had begun as healthy competition between them had soured, leaving a trail of heated exchanges and icy glares. Had her ambition twisted into desperation, lurking in the shadows and driving her toward a dangerous impulse? Then there was Tom Reed, a once promising scholar who had slipped into obscurity. His workspace overflowed with discarded drafts, each crumpled paper a haunting reminder of rejection and failure. Overwhelmed by despair, had this man, who once embodied potential, nurtured an insidious rage against Andrews, who represented all he'd longed to be? Lingering quietly in the shadows was Samuel Trent, a protege whose promise had been stifled by unmet expectations. An exchange of letters, filled with anguished emotion, revealed a partnership frayed by betrayal. Their relationship had devolved into simmering resentment. Could Trent's latent jealousy have driven him to cross the line into desperate measures? Detectives Carrington and Foster dove into the investigation, turning up the heat during tense interrogations. Each suspect danced around the questions, the air thick with unspoken truths and veiled secrets. With every carefully crafted response, tension escalated, suspicion tightening around their words. While probing into Andrews' emails, the detectives began to unravel a veiled narrative. Digital forensic teams illuminated discrepancies, revealing distorted timestamps and conflicting accounts. Each piece of evidence remained circumstantial, but the atmosphere crackled with the promise of revelation. Days passed, blending into a blur as the detectives meticulously combed through Andrew's cryptic notebooks. Patterns began to emerge, combining unique methodologies with notes hinting at both brilliance and paranoia. Yet the clues remained obscured, always just out of reach. Finally, after weeks of painstaking investigation, a breakthrough illuminated their path. The analysis of handwriting within the notepad revealed striking inconsistencies, suggesting manipulation by someone deeply familiar with Andrew's work. Armed with this critical evidence, they turned their focus towards Samuel Trent. The detectives orchestrated a confrontation within the dim library where tragedy had struck, shadows deepening around them, charged with accusations left unspoken. "You altered his notes, didn't you? You couldn't stand being in his shadow," Carrington pressed, her voice steady, piercing through the fog of uncertainty. Trent's facade began to crumble under the weight of the confrontation. "No, you don't understand," he stammered, desperation flickering in his eyes. "I wouldn't. This isn't just about anger, Samuel. It's fear. Fear of being eclipsed by the brilliance you once admired. Carrington shot back, her accusations relentless. Each statement peeled back layers of desperation, revealing a heartbreaking truth. Jealousy had transformed into the catalyst for murder. Trent's frantic need to reclaim significance drove him deeper into sabotage, seeking relief from the suffocating shadow of his mentor. As dawn broke over Cambridge, the morning light chased away the remnants of night. A fragile normalcy returned to the special collections, where scholars resumed their studies, their brows furrowed with contemplation of ambition's perilous edge. With the case now resolved, Carrington and Foster exchanged knowing glances, a shared silence heavy with understanding. Knowledge wielded incredible power, they realized, but at what cost? Stepping back into the light of a new day, they carried with them the echoes of ambition turned tragic. Moving on, they were mindful of the stark truth that within the hallowed halls of academia, the line between aspiration and madness can often blur irrevocably. In the aftermath of Dr. Andrews' tragic demise, the university community rallied together. A memorial was held, honoring the life of a brilliant mind taken too soon. Whispers of grief intermingled with aspirations for the future, a poignant reminder of the fragility that accompanies genius. As the detectives wrapped up the final touches of their report, they reflected on the delicate balance between ambition and morality. The lingering questions formed a protective barrier around them. What does it take to achieve greatness? Is it worth the cost of friendship, sanity, or even life itself? Each case they solved deepened their understanding of human ambition, but this one, tinged with tragedy, served as a haunting reminder. In the end, the world of academia resumed its pace, and the library regained its former serenity. But the haunting echoes of a life lost remained, a reminder to all who walked those storied halls. Ambition can drive one to remarkable heights or plunge them into despair. Detectives Carrington and Foster stepped out into the crisp morning air, lost in thought. They exchanged smiles, aware of the bond forged through their shared experience, a bond tempered by the realities of their work. After all, in a world filled with knowledge, the darkest depths pull at the very heart of humanity itself, urging them to remember that sometimes the quest for greatness can become a treacherous path. In the heart of London, the air was thick with the enticing aromas wafting from Epicurean Delights. This evening, the restaurant was alive with the sounds of laughter and anticipation as guests gathered for a culinary event unlike any other. A vibrant buzz surrounded them, with whispers of Chef Marcus Voss's latest creation echoing off the opulent chandeliers overhead. Marcus Voss was a name synonymous with bold flavors and stunning presentations. Years of dedication had earned him a place at the top of the culinary world, commanding respect from both diners and critics alike. But on this electric night, a simmering tension lingered just beneath the surface. Behind his charming facade, unresolved rivalries and grudges simmered among his kitchen staff, ready to erupt. In the bustling kitchen, sous-chef Emma Lark showcased her culinary skills with a dance that blended grace and anxiety. Each sizzle of the pan fueled her fervent desire for recognition, yet every plate executed by Marcus felt like a weight on her shoulders, a painful reminder of her own stalled ambitions. Out in the dining room, perched at the edge of the excitement, was Thomas Reed, Marcus's former partner. He was a man filled with resentment, feeling the betrayal of having been cast aside. As laughter and cheers erupted around him, Thomas seethed, plotting revenge as ripe as the evening's main course. Sarah Mills, a well-known food critic, was also among the crowd. Once at the pinnacle of success, her name had been dragged through the mud by Marcus's scathing reviews. She masked her bitterness beneath a facade of appreciation, but inside lurked a fierce desire for vindication. This night offered her a chance to reclaim her place in the unforgiving culinary world. As the excitement reached its peak, attention turned to the evening's crowning dish, le poisson de l'amour. Promising to enchant and delight, it glimmered at the center of the table. Just as the dish neared Marcus's eager lips, an air of anticipation flooded the room, but it shifted abruptly. Marcus staggered, his expression twisting into one of shock before he collapsed onto the polished floor. Gasps erupted in the dining room, chaos replacing celebration in an instant. Initially, it appeared to be a heart attack, but as emergency responders rushed in, the atmosphere thickened with a dread that hinted at something far darker. What had begun as a night of triumph had spiraled into a chilling mystery. An autopsy would bring shocking news. Marcus had been poisoned with a rare spice, one that could induce cardiac arrest almost instantly. And chillingly, this deadly spice came from his cherished family heirloom, a spice grinder he held dear. The revelation fell like a stone. Murder had replaced culinary delight. Detectives quickly arrived on the scene, determined to peel back the layers of personal relationships and suspicious behaviors. Their focus was razor-sharp, and they soon discovered the spice grinder, a crucial piece of evidence linked directly to Marcus's demise. Delving into surveillance footage and communication records, their investigation revealed a tangled web of motives from around him. Emma emerged as a key figure, an ambitious sous-chef who perhaps desired success at any cost. Emails surfaced that hinted at her dealings with an underground spice vendor, stirring disquiet among the detectives who began to see shades of malicious intent. As the inquiry delved deeper, they unveiled Thomas's long-standing resentment towards Marcus. Likewise, Sarah's tarnished reputation painted a grim narrative of ambition corrupted by darkness. Yet, a fleeting moment in the surveillance footage prompted further scrutiny of Emma, leaving detectives puzzled about who had truly crossed the line. Tension filled the air. Whispers of sabotage floated among the suspects as detectives laid their findings bare. Confrontations loomed, ready to unmask hidden truths. Each suspect faced relentless scrutiny as the stakes heightened. The case began to tell a comprehensive story. Emma's frequent access to the spice grinder ignited suspicion, painting a damning portrait of her ambition transformed into potential malice. During their confrontation, her calm exterior began to crack, revealing the uncertainty lurking beneath. With each question, her composure faltered, unraveling her carefully crafted image. The detective's persistence led to a flood of emotions in the room. The dark truth of her ambition spilled forth, revealing that her dreams had twisted into something ghastly. As the narrative of the investigation unfolded, whispers spread through the culinary community. Epicurean Delights would be forever tarnished by the treachery stemming from that night. The tale of death à la carte echoed through kitchens and dining rooms alike, exposing stark realities about ambition's darker side, a cautionary tale of how genius can metamorphose into malevolence. In the aftermath, Emma faced the harrowing consequences of her relentless ambition. The culinary world would remember her not as a rising star, but as the architect of a tragic end. The bitter aftertaste of betrayal would linger long after the last course had been served, a haunting reminder of the hidden costs that often accompany the pursuit of greatness.
This chapter closes, but the truth always finds a way back. Until next time, in Shadows of Truth.